You've been told the highest states of spiritual freedom belong to renunciants, to monks on mountain peaks who have abandoned the world. But what if that conventional wisdom is entirely wrong? What if the most potent environment for dissolving karma and achieving self-realization is not the quiet cave, but the very place you spend your life, your busy office, your chaotic household, your demanding career? This is the radical truth of Grihastha, householder path, the non-dual journey revived by Lahiri Mahashaya and Kriya Yoga. It doesn't ask you to escape the world. It gives you the secret to use the daily struggle, the samskaras that fuel the conflicts and attachments, as a furnace for your own liberation. The Sanskrit term Grihastha, householder, refers to a specific stage of life and spiritual orientation. Grihastha is the second of the 4 ashramas, the life stages, in the Vedic and Hindu tradition, following the student brahmacharya. The path emphasizes the use of the material world and daily life as tools for spiritual advancement, rather than viewing them as obstacles. To be a householder means to consciously undertake spiritual practice while fully engaged in worldly life. It is the path of balance and integration. Balance is maintained between material duties such as work, family, civic life, and so on, and spiritual discipline. For example, meditation, self-study, devotion, etc. Integration means that the spiritual discipline is not separate from daily life, but is infused into it. Mundane activities become opportunities for practice, managing conflict with patience, performing work without attachment, and viewing family as a divine responsibility. The householder path is often contrasted with the monastic path, the sannyasa, or complete renunciation. The monastic path is arduous by nature and is the path of extreme. It involves a complete withdrawal from society, vows of celibacy and poverty, and intense continuous spiritual discipline. It seeks to eliminate external friction and temptation entirely through environmental control. The monastic path is suited to very few. It is the ultimate path of non-attachment through physical separation, but is not necessarily the path of integration. If a practitioner enters the monastic life without sufficient internal purification, their latent tendencies, the samskaras, remain unchallenged. Samskaras are the psychological imprints, the residual seeds or latent potential energy left in the subconscious mind through one's past thoughts and actions and experiences. They form the basis of our habitual behavioral patterns, reactions, and egoic tendencies. In the life of total withdrawal, the conditions required to trigger unresolved behavioral patterns, such as anger, greed, envy, or attachment, are absent. If there aren't sufficient opportunities for integration, meaning opportunities to act in the world and choose an awakened response instead of a habitual one, many of the same behavioral patterns will persist and will manifest in the future when the conditions are right. In contrast, the householder path, with its constant daily frictions, provides the ideal environment where these samskaras are continuously exposed, confronted, and transmuted through conscious spiritual action. The Bhagavad Gita is an important text for the householder, offering a guide to spiritual practice within the world. The Gita does not counsel withdrawal, but rather meditation plus right activity. It teaches the synthesis of disciplines, including karma yoga, the yoga of action, and dhyana yoga, the yoga of meditation. In chapter 2, verse 47 of the Bhagavad Gita, it says, "You have the right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, nor should you be attached to inaction." This verse provides an important central instruction for the householder to engage fully in one's duty, one's dharma, while cultivating renunciation of attachments to the fruits of one's actions. The action is performed diligently, but the practitioner detaches their ego and happiness from the outcome. This selfless action performed as an offering to the divine purifies the mind, burns up dormant samskaras, and leads to liberation, without requiring physical renunciation of the world. In essence, the Bhagavad Gita teaches that the householder does not need to physically renounce the world, but must learn to internally renounce the ego's claim on the results of their actions. The Gita further reinforces the householder's path in chapter 3, verse 5, arguing that action is natural, necessary, and superior to forced inaction. The householder path is thus a dynamic, demanding, and highly effective way to achieve spiritual realization through complete engagement with life. So what about the connection between Kriya Yoga and the householder path? Well, Kriya Yoga is the epitome of the householder path. Yogi Raj Lahiri Baba, Lahiri Mahashai, the modern founder of Kriya Yoga, is revered for demystifying and universalizing the practice. He proved that the highest spiritual attainment is possible without physical withdrawal from the world. His life and teachings established the modern householder path as a valid and potent means to liberation. And he did this under the direction of his guru, Mahavatar Babaji. When Lahiri Baba received Diksha, initiation from his guru, Mahavatar Babaji said, "You will have to remain in the family ambit as a complete householder and practice the austere sadhana, by which you can establish an illustrious ideal. Many are awaiting you. You will have to show the path of salvation to all those honest householders. You cannot forget that you have made a vow to them. Family men desire to practice sadhana, remaining within the family, but they are plagued by problems and possess little time. Therefore, you will show them this yoga sadhana, which is facile, unostentatious, and effective. It is because of this you have descended on this earthly abode. You cannot forget this." Lahiri Baba instructed his disciples, who included people from all walks of life, such as doctors, lawyers, soldiers, and farmers, to continue their professional and domestic duties. He assured all householders that liberation is not dependent on social status, wealth, or physical isolation, but purely on the sincere, continuous practice of Kriya Yoga while performing one's rightful duties in the world. He taught that true sannyasa, renunciation, is an internal state of non-attachment to the fruits or results of action, not the donning of ochre robes. One must remain mentally unattached, even while physically performing duty. In his commentary on chapter 2, verse 47 of the Bhagavad Gita, he states, "Do all duties, but do not look forward to the fruits of your acts, as such wishful actions will be a hindrance in purifying the chit, mind and heart. If you are meditating and at the same time thinking of various things, your steadiness of the chit will not be achieved, without which it will not get purified, and without the purification, self-realization is impossible." Kriya Yoga Sadhana is a highly potent practice designed to rapidly accelerate spiritual evolution of the practitioner. The practice requires relatively short, dedicated sessions daily, often 1 or 2 sessions, that can be easily integrated into a busy householder's schedule, unlike the longer and more demanding disciplines of ascetic yoga. Kriya Yoga practice creates an internal state of stillness and energy refinement that allows a householder to return to their activities with a calm, detached mind. This detachment minimizes the creation of new samskaras, karmic debt, transforming outward actions into purificatory rituals rather than causes for further bondage. In his commentary on chapter 2, verse 48 of the Bhagavad Gita, Lahiri Baba states, "Yoga, as said, is a steady mental condition, in sorrow and in happiness, in success and in failure. Thus do your duty with devotion to the Lord, by staying in Paravasta." Paravasta is a reference to the after-effects state of practicing Kriya Yoga. Lahiri Baba did not describe it as a mere technique or temporary experience, but as the ultimate spontaneous and effortless state that results from deep, sincere practice of Kriya Yoga. Para means highest or supreme or beyond, and avasta means state or condition. Therefore, Paravasta literally means the highest state, or the beyond state. It is often described as the state where the breath naturally ceases, the heart rate slows dramatically, and the mind becomes completely still. In this quietude, the ordinary movements of the ego and thoughts cease. One of Lahiri Baba's most critical instructions was to clarify the relationship between the active practice and the goal. Kriya, the active effort, the physical, mental, and energetic technique that purifies body and mind. It is what you do. Paravasta, the effortless, spontaneous absorption that arises after the technique is completed, or when the energy has been sufficiently calmed. It is what happens to you when the effort stops. He often reminded students that the technique, Kriya, is merely a means to usher in the Paravasta, which is the true state of yoga, union. The highest instruction is to sink into Paravasta once the active Kriya is over. Lahiri Baba taught that in Paravasta, the consciousness automatically merges with the divine or spirit. It is a natural absorption into the vast non-dual self. This concept is crucial for the householder because it is a portable state of liberation. The ability to return to the inner silence and maintain a fragment of that stillness while engaged in worldly duties is the essence of integration. In summary, the spiritual life of Grihastha, householder, is defined as a dynamic twofold practice: the path of balance, the horizontal act of balancing one's worldly duties, career, family, society, with one's spiritual discipline, meditation, study, etc. The path of integration, the vertical act of infusing spiritual realizations into daily experience. The Bhagavad Gita provides the philosophical blueprint for this path, counseling a blend of meditation, dhyana yoga, and right action, karma yoga. Kriya Yoga is the potent modern evolution of this advice that provides the householder with a powerful, time-efficient meditative technique that allows one to enter the highest state, Paravasta. This state facilitates a unitive experience with the divine totality that dissolves the egoic separation. The genius of the householder path, as taught by Lahiri Baba, is the ability to carry a fragment of the profound internal stillness, the portable liberation of Paravasta, and integrate it into the constant action and challenge of everyday life. So if you have any questions about this video, feel free to send me an email at info@modernkriya.com. Also check our website at modernkriya.com and our YouTube channel. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.